Hello everybody, and welcome to the coastal plains of southeast Georgia. It is hot, it is humid, and we have a heck of a matchup on our hands between South Georgia Tormenta and one Knoxville SC. My name is Parker Johnson, and this is USL League One Soccer on ESPN+. We start with a look at the League One standings, because tonight's match is going to have a huge impact on those playoff positions. 12 out of the 14 League One teams in action within a couple hours of each other this evening. One Knoxville enters this match in 7th, but tied on points with Richmond and Greenville. South Georgia Tormenta comes in 11th, trying to put some pressure on that playoff line. The man they will be looking to is none other than Niall Reed-Steven, who has 1 goal, 1 assist in his last 2 league matches. We'll see the winner here. He scored late on against FC Naples at home. In between, he also scored a goal in the Jägermeister Cup. So that's 2 goals, 1 assist in his last 3 games. This assist earned South Georgia a point in their last match on the road against Portland Hearts of Pine. And Sebastian Vivas will start from the bench today, and that's where he's made a lot of his impact this season. The Prinks Tires Impact Sub of the Month. Vivas was the player of the season for South Georgia Tormenta last year with 9 goals, but he's just as dangerous when he comes off the bench as he will tonight. The last time these two teams played, it was 3 weeks ago, and it was a shelling in Knoxville. 3-0 to the home side, and they did their damage on the set pieces, the long throw-ins, causing havoc in the South Georgia defense. Mikel Goling scoring the 2nd goal. Babacar Dieng finishing the job late on with a header of his own. That one at least from open play, but it was all Knoxville in that match. At the back, their sturdy leader is Jordan Skelton, a man who started his career. His first professional contract was with South Georgia Tormenta. He makes his return to Statesboro tonight as the captain of one Knoxville, a team that has won 4 straight against South Georgia, keeping 4 clean sheets in the process. So Skelton will try to keep that streak alive as the countdown to kickoff continues. We've got starting lineups and kickoff right after this.
I need to try it first.
Are you suffering from hip or knee pain? Don't let the pain hold you back. The region's most experienced robotic joint replacement team at Optum Health System offers an individually tailored approach that is more precise and creates smaller incisions. For you, that can mean a faster recovery with less pain. Your comeback starts here. Call today to find out if robotic-assisted joint replacement is right for you.
The Clubhouse in Statesboro, Southeast Georgia's best place to play. The Clubhouse in Statesboro, where fun is done.
I need to try it first.
Clear skies, a light breeze, and 86 degrees for kickoff in South Georgia at Tormenta Stadium. Let's get you the starting lineups. First for the home side, Ian Cameron's bunch, going with the 4-2-3-1 look. Yeah, we will show you in just a moment. Couple changes to the starting lineup. One in attack and one at the back. Callum Stretch is suspended with a red card, so Tabo Nare, number 4, comes in at center back, and up top, a sub takes Sebastian Vivas out and brings in Taylor Gray on the front line. Let's take a look now at Ian Fuller and his lineup, rolling into South Georgia in a 4-2-3-1. Couple changes for him as well. Babacar Dieng starts up top today. Note Tempest Tequila out with an injury. And in the midfield, a welcome return for Abel Caputo, a man who really makes things tick in the center of the park for one Knoxville SC. 4 straight matchups that have been shutouts in this series. All have gone to one Knoxville. It was 3-0 when they met just 3 weeks ago in the Old City in Tennessee. And South Georgia Tormenta definitely looking to break that streak back here at home. But today it's one Knoxville celebrating its 100th match as a club by flying into the eye of the Tormenta. And these scruffy boys are probably the last team Ian Cameron wants to see walk across that. White jerseys with orange numbers. South Georgia at home in the blue and magenta. Mikel Rashid searching for a long pass to Taylor Gray. Dropping it off to Jonathan Dianjo, scorer of the tying goal against Portland Hearts of Pine. Helped South Georgia take a point away at yet another sellout crowd at Fitzpatrick Stadium last Sunday, as Gray interchanges with Gabriel Alves overlapping on the left. One of the main creative forces for South Georgia, the left back, and now it's Nare stepping up to keep possession for the home side. And a foul through the back by Babacar Dieng, but back into play quickly by the captain, Gabriel Cabral. Tunbridge makes his return to the starting lineup. He will play in the 10 position. We'll see how the front line shakes out, because they took out Vivas from the starting lineup, who's kind of that more traditional number 9 for Tormenta. They have Gray, Nianjo, and Niall Reed-Steven, a Team of the Week honoree this week in USL League One. Those are the front 3 around Tunbridge. So one of them will fill in as the forward. We're guessing, based on our conversation with Ian Cameron, that it'll be Reed-Steven, but none of them quite that natural center forward piece like the likes of Vivas or Yaniv Bazzini. But it's Reed-Steven here, and he was whistled for a foul on Danny Fernandez as he muscled him off and had eyes for goal. One of the reasons Ian Cameron told me for the switch, bringing Reed-Steven into the forward and into the central positions especially, is to get him matched up with center backs, just like he was there against Fernandez. He said that at times Reed-Steven would get a little bit lost or underused on the outside. It was easier for teams to double up on him with a winger and a fullback, and he wasn't getting in behind as much as Ian Cameron would have liked. They've moved him into a more central position, and it's been 3 goal contributions in 3 games across all competitions since that move, which has certainly paid off for South Georgia. On the other side, it's Gio Calixtro getting his first touches of the match. Starting at the right wing today. And he's got Jaheim Brown for help, who bounces it off of his own man. An unfortunate touch for Knoxville, and a goal kick to Tormenta. Knoxville was actually a little bit delayed getting down to Georgia this week. They suffered some unavoidable traffic issues and got in late last night. See if that has any effect from the start here with those altered travel plans. It is quite the journey on the bus from Knoxville to Statesboro. 86 degrees at kickoff, and Ian Fuller told me that his team was going to be very wary of the conditions. It is his first trip to Statesboro as a coach of One Knoxville. And he said he wanted his team to play smart. They may try to be a little bit more conservative, save their energy as much as possible, save their legs. He's wanted his team to be more expansive as the season has gone on. They've been similarly defensively strong as they were in the past. That much has not changed under Ian Fuller, but he's still working with his team on how they can get more when they do have the ball. And it's Richie who, for the second time, this time from the left, has bounced across off of his own forward. Some misconnections early on for One Knoxville in the first 5 minutes. And Mikel Rashid happy to let the Knoxville forward do the defending for him in that scenario. Rashid, the 24-year-old center back, signed last month for South Georgia. And he's had to come into a big role as they've dealt with some center back issues. Now it's rolled forward to Gray. Cabral at the edge of the area. The full rotation goes across to Nianjo. And that wall of white jerseys showing up at the edge of the 18-yard box. Nianjo able to beat a couple. Flicked through by Tunbridge and headed back deftly from Richie to Sean Lewis, who was alert to the back pass situation and was able to prevent a corner. That is a elite level of trust between defender and goalkeeper to take the delicate header back so that he can use his hands and pick that one up. But a smart play indeed from Stuart Ritchie as Calixto picks it up with space ahead of him. He's got a run from Brown on the outside. Calixto again, fires it low. Dealt with by Nare. Nare making his 5th start of the season. I mentioned that Tormenta have had a lot of changes at center back. Anatolia Prepelica with a season-ending injury early on in the campaign. He was the one that they were going to rely on to be the #1 guy. And they've brought in Rashid today without Callum Stretch due to a red card picked up against Portland. They got a big throw to deal with here. This is how Knoxville scored their first 2 goals of the match against Tormenta at home, were those long throw-ins. Brown on the ground, some contact inside the area. And the appeals were half-hearted at best, and I think the One Knoxville players knew it. Taylor Gray waiting for the cavalry to arrive. Cabral has space, thought about a shot momentarily, but passes over to Tunbridge, his co-creator. Tunbridge gets the layoff from Reed Steven. Back in from Tunbridge. Skelton sends it away. You see the ability of One Knoxville to collapse that 2 banks of 4, even a bank of 4 and 5 when goaling comes back. Fired off by DN. But as soon as Tormenta get towards the edge of that box, the closer they get, the tighter that line of white jerseys is. Another look at the shot from the Senegalese striker DN. 28 years of age. He's got 3 goals and 1 assist in the US Open Cup this season. 6 goals, 3 assists in total across all competitions. But just 1 in the league, and it won. Reed Steven, able to get away from Fernandez. Tunbridge looking for his left. Slide pass, and a little too much heat on it for Jonathan Nianjo. The USL on CBS kicks off July with a hot showdown in the Championship Eastern Conference. Last season's final runner-up, Rhode Island FC, takes on Northeast rival Hartford Athletic on Saturday, July 19th at 4 p.m. Eastern on CBS. Interception from Oscar Jimenez, one of two player coaches this year, alongside Aaron Walker, who will retrieve the ball from Babacar Dieng for this free kick. It's an interesting dynamic amongst those many young players that South Georgia have. You got the veterans like Jimenez, who's made over 200 appearances in USL Championship. The likes of Aaron Walker, top 5 all-time in USL League One in minutes played. Along with the young guns, the Gabriel Alves, the Niall Reed-Steven, both having breakout campaigns despite the lack of results in the league for Tormenta. A lot of very positive elements. They just haven't quite come together for Ian Cameron's side. Free kick lofted in from Tunbridge off of Skelton, who is frustrated. Standing in disbelief just off the field of play, trying to figure out exactly what he was so upset about. Perhaps the marking at the back post from Fernandez, or maybe asking for a foul and a push. But in any case, a corner for South Georgia. Cabral whipped in. It's Calixtro trying to clear. A touch on his heels, but play continues. Mason Tunbridge. Englishman drops it back to Aaron Walker. A low line of confrontation from one Knoxville. South Georgia trying to create some space with a big switch of play. Cabral knocking it back to Nare.
I need more pressure on the ball there. I need more pressure on the ball. All right? You're 3 yards away. Finish it off. Yes, Bubba. Finish it, Bubba.
Hear the pitch side chatter from one Knoxville head coach Ian Fuller. Gray to Tunbridge. They've tried that back post ball a few times, hasn't come off yet, but Nianjo has taken up a residency in behind Jaheim Brown on that side. Look at Sean Lewis making his 7th start of the year for one Knoxville in the league. Did have some injury troubles in the preseason, and then a little knock in the middle of the campaign as well. But a even 1.0 goals against average. Has conceded those 6 goals in the 6 matches. 2 clean sheets for Lewis. Last year, USL League One goalkeeper of the year. Seeing Caputo start to control the play a bit for the visitors as he knocks it over to the Spaniard Fernandez. Goaling finds Richie in good crossing position. Knocked away by Jimenez. Perfectly into Tunbridge. He's got Reed-Steven streaking in behind. Niall Reed-Steven is onside, on his left, and into the top corner. The backsman from Barbados. Back on the score sheet for South Georgia. A swift break from the home side, and Reed-Steven makes him pay. What a ball from Mason Tunbridge from inside his own half, and Reed-Steven with far too much pace for the retreating Sievert Haugli. Lewis got a hand on the shot, but too much heat from Niall Reed-Steven, who had the option to play it across, didn't need it. It's off the right wrist of Sean Lewis and into that top corner. Second goal in his last 3 league matches. 4th goal contribution across the last 4 in all competitions. He is on fire. His 6th goal of the year in all competitions, Niall Reed-Stevens, his first professional season. He's done it for his country in Barbados, and he's done it now in League One. Certainly going to be catching the eye of plenty across the league, and maybe in some other leagues as well, but right now he's South Georgia's man. Ian Cameron had talked about trying to get him in central positions to try to get him behind the back line more often. That time he was able to do it from out wide with Gray playing that role in the middle, and it was all about the pass from Mason Tunbridge to set up that goal. It's Tunbridge again, trying to play it up the line to Jimenez, but a little bit too far forward. That is Tormenta's first goal against One Knoxville since 2023. Shutout in their last 4 matches. Tunbridge thought about another pass through to Reed-Steven, wasn't able to quite get it off. But he will draw the foul from One Knoxville as they retreat. And it's all about catching them in those moments. We've talked in the early stages of this match about how structurally compact One Knoxville are when Tormenta are in possession. And they catch them in the one moment after the Ritchie cross is intercepted. The fullback out of position. And a rare moment where One Knoxville left space in behind. Credit to South Georgia for taking advantage. Taylor Gray with room to turn and room to burn. He's got Niangio to his left. Gray tried to pass it inside where Reed-Steven was waiting. Picked up by Cabral. The Brazilian playing with his compatriot Alves. Now Gray, back to Alves, flashed across. And Niangio a little bit late to it at the near post. Great work, though, from South Georgia Tormenta. Niangio doesn't commit to the run, and that's where you'd expect a center forward, a more natural center forward to be, the likes of Vivas or Yaniv Bazzini. Niangio was able to pick up a goal from around that 6-yard area against Portland Hearts of Pine, a game that went off script for Tormenta. Ian Cameron said they got off to a slow start. They did concede right before halftime, and they made a lot of positive changes. They had some firepower available to them on the bench too, and he was liking his odds of a second half comeback, but a red card slowed their roll. Nothing stopping them in the early going. It's Niangio. One Knoxville's defense parting, and Niangio was all by himself. Opted to go for the first time finish. It's right at Sean Lewis in the end, but the chances continuing to flow. Nare to Cabral. Walker dropping between the center backs. The USL on ESPN2. Watch July 18th as Eastern Conference rivals battle it out on the field. Detroit City FC take on Pittsburgh Riverhounds SC in a fight to grab points and move up the standings. Friday, July 18th at 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. Approaching the 20-minute mark from Statesboro. Tormenta giving the home fans plenty to cheer about. An early goal from Niall Reed-Steven. Keeping up his fine form. And one Knoxville with games to try to catch up in the standings. They've only played 10 this season. Their points per game tally is 5th in the league. But with those games in hand, they would be looking at this as an opportunity to start moving into those top places in the standings. See how they respond to the early pressure. But Tormenta looking for more.
That's not you!
Goaling picking it up on the turn for the first time in this match. A little bit of contact from Cabral, but one Knoxville allowed to play the advantage. Howgley in possession. Brown not impressed with the options available to him when he got the ball in the right channel. One Knoxville off the pace. They forced Tormenta back into a defensive shape here. A little bit of possession for the away side. Mark Doyle dropping back to keep it. Getting him back was a big boost for Ian Fuller. Calixtro from the opposite side. There's a push in the back as Jimenez goes flying. It was Doyle who shoved him and whistled for the foul by Mario Maric, our head referee today. Clear of a call as it gets, and Jimenez making sure everyone saw it. But important for Knoxville to get Mark Doyle back, the Irishman with so much quality in his game going forward, as Tunbridge trying to recreate the connection with Niall Reed-Steven, putting his passing range on display. Goaling finds Calixtro. Caputo. Doyle turns, but then blocked away by Oscar Jimenez. If you joined us late, no Kempes Tequila for one Knoxville. He is their leading goal scorer across all competitions, 4 goals this season. A couple from the penalty spot. Usually the focal point of their attack. One of those hold-up strikers who is so good at bringing everybody else into the play. It's not the exact same style that Babacar Dieng brings up top. He's more of a stretch it and run in behind type of player. Coach Fuller calls him a more elegant presence up top. The one who's had trouble finding the back of the net this season. 1 goal against Knoxville, but truly should have had a couple more. Doyle looking for the combination with Caputo. You look at the players available in midfield, the absence of Callum Johnson being felt in this one so far as well. Sievert Haugli pairs with Caputo, two very defensive-minded players, both capable of playing by themselves as a 6, but paired alongside for this road matchup. And Knoxville trailing early. Slide from Cabral. Great defensive work, tracking over to cover Calixtro. Another look at the slide. Able to keep the possession as well, the Brazilian midfielder. May have given himself a little extra damage in the process, but Cabral, one of those real number 8s. He plays both sides of the ball so well. 15 key passes for South Georgia, is second in the creative department. And on the defensive side of the game, he also leads the team in interceptions, tackles, and duels won. A real do-it-all player and a fan favorite here in Statesboro, member of that championship winning team back in 2022. Returning from a stint with Miami FC, where he had 4 different coaches in 2 years. He comes back, and Ian Cameron's still at the helm here in South Georgia. Tormenta's got a match against Miami FC where he'll get to play his old club in the Jägermeister Cup. This match, how dangerous this Knoxville team is from set pieces. The likes of Haugli and Skelton and Doling. The delivery here from Caputo, but they work it short. Calixtro didn't appear to be on the same page, looking for that return pass around the corner. And a curious decision from one Knoxville to not attempt to use that aerial advantage that they have. Try to draw Austin Pack into a tricky decision. Pack was certainly partly to blame for the second goal they conceded against one Knoxville. Failed to meet the punch correctly when he came out on a long throw-in, and it dropped into an open goal for Mikael Guling. Sun starting to have an effect on these players as it descends over the South Georgia sky. Doyle sprinting through, all the sting taken off of his cross. Nianjo will try to break out. Kept up with very well by Jaheim Brown. And Nianjo just making the smart play to drop it back to Gabriel Alves with a perfect diagonal over to Oscar Jimenez, his opposite fullback. Alves, one of the most ambitious passers on this team. He's got 251 forward passes this season. He's completed 103 long passes, at least 104 now, if not a couple more. Both those figures lead South Georgia. He's a great crosser of the ball when he does come forward, as we've seen in the early going, but Tormenta's early advances seem to have slowed a little bit since they scored that goal. There's been a bit of a response from One Knoxville, at least in terms of keeping the ball, though they haven't created a lot of great chances from it. Perhaps a bit of that exhaustion setting in as well. It's a busy month for everybody around League One. Knoxville getting into Statesboro late last night after some delayed travel down through the I-40, I-26 corridor just south of Asheville. There was a truck fire on the interstate that left them stranded for 3 hours yesterday. And they haven't got off to the fastest start here. Right around 85 degrees and 65% humidity in the Georgia sun. Headed across to DN. Mark Doyle, a big deflection from Rashid, and it was a necessary one. That shot from Doyle was stinging. Perhaps the best chance of the match so far for One Knoxville. The header came in from Jaheim Brown, and DN did brilliantly to set up his teammate, given the position that he was in. Mario March will have a discussion before this corner gets taken. It was Haugley who he had a word with. Played into the back post, and a dominant header there from Rashid. This will be a throw-in, which is nearly as good as a corner for One Knoxville. Slightly more effective with them at home, given their narrow field, which meets the minimum FIFA requirements and no more. South Georgia with a slightly more expansive pitch here at Tormenta Stadium. But Brown definitely has the firepower to get this inside the box. Skelton making himself a nuisance for Gabriel Alves, and another word from the referee. This is the game that One Knoxville want to play. It's the game Skelton loves to play, trying to get in the head of the opposing players. He's gone down. A little bit of contact. The header drops on the backside for Niall Reed-Steven. And he looks for Tunbridge, who takes a touch around the corner, and he's taken down by Stuart Ritchie in transition. He may receive a yellow card. And he will from Mario Maric. First player into the book. Knows exactly what he's doing here, Stuart Ritchie. If he didn't clip his heels, he was grabbing at his hips as well. And he's immediately throws that hand up to the referee, knowing what was coming. So that takes us to our first half hydration break as Stuart Ritchie goes into the book. So a chance for these two teams to pause. A 1-0 lead for Tormenta. Niall Reed-Steven scoring the goal in the 14th minute, assisted by Mason Tunbridge. And we have been given the information that there is some lightning in the area. So we are going into a weather delay at Tormenta Stadium. The players have been told to exit the pitch with Tormenta up 1-0 here. We did know that there was a possibility, as there always is in Georgia in July, of some scattered thunderstorms this evening, but hopefully passing over with nothing more than a short delay. We will keep you posted as we learn more. But for now, 1-0 stopped at the 33rd minute, rather. And before we get to this delay, let's show you how this game has gone down and take another look at the decisive goal so far from Niall Reed-Steven, who had a long way to go and a lot to do with the finish. Lewis got a hand on it, but could not stop it from a man who is in fine form right now. The Barbados international. Boom, top corner. And a top-class assist from Mason Tunbridge. So we will step aside during this weather delay. Keep your eyes posted on the social media channels. Keep the stream open, and we will be back as soon as we can from Tormenta Stadium. Welcome back, everybody. We are so glad that you've stuck around with us. We are still here, and we are ready for some more soccer in Statesboro. Just to reset, the game was delayed in the 33rd minute due to lightning in the area. We've been delayed for about an hour and 15 minutes, and South Georgia still have that 1-0 lead, thanks to Niall Reed Stephen. So we are just moments away from restarting this match. The ball had gone out. And the last action was Stuart Ritchie receiving a yellow card as South Georgia attempted to break in transition. So we are actually going to start with that free kick. And we are back underway with the goal scorer, Niall Reed Stephen for South Georgia Tormenta. Again, we want to say a huge thank you to everybody sticking around, tuning back in, and following along this USL League One match between Knoxville and Tormenta. Knoxville starting the night in 7th place, Tormenta in 11th, but this result would move Tormenta that much closer to that top 8 playoff positions. And this will be fascinating to see how this changes tonight's contest. It's DN coming the other way. Down towards the end line, working against the combination of Rashid and Nare, earning a corner for One Knoxville straight away here. And if you were worried about these teams taking a little bit off the gas pedal with just about 10 minutes until our halftime break, early indications, it's full throttle back in action. It was a short warm-up after that hour-plus weather delay. And DN looking lively. So corner for South Georgia to defend. And a header off the bar. The game nearly turning within a minute of the restart. Chatting with a few people during our delay. The common sense was that this delay could benefit One Knoxville. You see Danny Fernandez, who got his head on the ball, that close to tying this game up. If for nothing else, just to break up the rhythm that Tormenta FC started this match with. They looked really good from the opening whistle. One Knoxville looked a touch off the pace, and not that the delay will have helped One Knoxville in that regard, but it could have at least evened things out a little bit and got South Georgia off their rhythm. There's some contact in the box, but enough with the ball to avoid the penalty kick. Another nervy moment in defense for Tormenta, caused by a loose clearance. The kind of mistakes that have been present throughout the season far too often for Ian Cameron's side. But Cabral working with Tunbridge and Alves, trying to reset the nerves, using that veteran presence in the midfield alongside Aaron Walker, who bounces it off of Rashid. Got some contact from behind from Goling. No whistle forthcoming for South Georgia. So we will have 10 minutes remaining until a halftime break. We're going to do a normal halftime, so this is going to be a real key period of this match. How will both teams manage this short segment of the game? Hyper-focused for Knoxville on finding an equalizer and coming out of that halftime break on even footing for Tormenta, trying to manage this lead. Knoxville has not won from a losing position this season. South Georgia has not lost from a winning position this season, but both teams have finished in draws from those respective score lines. Alves trying to work it up the line with Nianjo. as we get another look at the potential penalty claim. Again, such a mess of it made by South Georgia, and Alves sticking his foot in. Looked like he made some contact with the ball. He definitely took a chunk of DN as well. And the referee deciding to let play continue without a penalty decision. But certainly more pressure from one Knoxville since our restart here. Less than 4 minutes have been played, and they're looking at their second corner. The first one turned into a header off the crossbar. Complete miskick from Alves on his less favored right foot. Knoxville crowding the bodies past the penalty spot in that back post area. Doyle locked up. So many aerial targets for Knoxville. It's a flick from Haugley. Falls to Caputo and back to Stuart Ritchie, who's trying to find a man open in the box. Lofted up, and Pack comes to collect. South Georgia trying to regain some composure. Line splitting pass into the feet of Cabral. Reed Stephen back on the ball. Plays forward to Nianjo, straight past his defender, keeps it in play, pulled back to the edge of the area. Tunbridge has a hit. Not able to keep it on target. But better from South Georgia Tormenta. The burst from Nianjo. He averages the most successful dribbles per match on this Tormenta team. Showing how dangerous that pace is against a center half like Fernandez. Brown advancing. Has a pass inside to Calixtro, and it's skewed far wide of goal. Disappointing effort from the Knoxville winger. So much space for him, and never got his hips around that ball. Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship. From the Academy to the big league, Select is there every step of the way. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice. A belated whistle after that contact left Niall Reed-Stephen clutching his head. You can see the skull-to-skull contact with the big Spaniard Fernandez. And the goal scorer down on the pitch. Chance for both coaches to just impart a few instructions after seeing how these opening phases have played out. Such a unique dynamic with the game stopped about 12 minutes until the end of the first half to come out with a long delay and a short warm-up, and then to have to re-enter this high-intensity type of game. Knoxville immediately took better advantage of it, striking the crossbar, creating a couple of chances. But South Georgia have responded here, and you could hear Ian Cameron just going over some of his instructions as they try to get to halftime with a lead. Reed Steven trying to collect his bearings still. For now, South Georgia will play with 10. 43rd minute from Tormenta Stadium. Reed Steven on the sideline, and back he comes right in time to intercept that pass intended for Jaheim Brown, and it could start an opportunity for South Georgia. Reed Steven usually playing on the right, finds himself here on the left as Gray drops back to build the possession with the Barbados International, who sends it all the way back, and South Georgia will reset their shape. Knoxville's line of confrontation a bit higher since this restart, perhaps sensing that this condensed period of the game, they could expend a little bit more energy with that halftime break looming quickly. And speaking to Ian Fuller before the match, he was intent on conserving as much energy as possible, but as circumstances change, you got to change that game plan, allowing Knoxville to be a little bit more aggressive here as they try to get back in this match. A little bit of a slip from Caputo, but he's able to get it back to Haugley and over to Jordan Skelton with a little mistake as he stepped over that ball. Nyanjo. And the foul whistled against the Geordie captain, Jordan Skelton. Hanging from Newcastle, and, well, that's why he doesn't play on the wing. He'll be the first to crack a joke about that play after the match, but the picture of intensity, especially when it comes to a defensive set-piece situation, barking out orders to the troops. Cabral over the free kick. Tried to get it in behind the Knoxville line, but couldn't beat the first man in Doyle. Tracks all the way back to recover as we are into the final minute of the first 45. Again, there will be a halftime break as normal, despite the over an hour delay. And we are hearing that there will be 5 added minutes of first half stoppage time. Obviously, a bit of a break as they checked on Reed Steven, but do remember that there were some stoppages that occurred before the weather delay that probably had to be added on as well. Now, do I remember them at this point? I would have to say no, but 5 minutes, says our fourth official, Kyle Johnston. And so we will play at least to 49. That will be, once again, unable to find the target. You thought when his first shot came in during the restart that fell to him at the edge of the area, that might have been a sighter and helped him keep the next one on target, but the second one goes the same. And South Georgia looking for another opportunity, but Cabral turning back. Walker comes to pick it up. Jimenez did well to split the line, but Gray couldn't continue it on to a teammate. Counter press from South Georgia as Gray tracks down. Gray has played as the nominal striker in this match for Ian Cameron. No Sebastian Vivas, no Yaniv Bazzini from the start. Likewise, Knoxville without their typical striker, Kempes Tequila. It's been Babacar DN leading the line. No great chances to speak of for DN. He did set up a good opportunity for Doyle before the weather delay. That was deflected by Mikel Rashid. That was the best chance until Knoxville struck the crossbar just after our restart. Other than that, everything has gone through Tormenta, including the goal from Reed Stephen. And they move the ball languidly in possession. So our halftime break draws closer. With a pillowy touch. They're claiming for a corner on the shot from Tunbridge, but the referee has given a goal kick. Let's get another look. Hard to tell from our camera view, but goes down as another skewed shot from Tunbridge, who's been active if not accurate. Gray with the high pressure. Skelton forced into the corner again. This time maneuvers out without the use of a step over. Left that one in his back pocket. Fernandez into the feet of DN. Return from Richie. You can hear Ian Fuller saying that they are down a man for a moment. Unclear exactly what he's referring to there, but in response, Ian Cameron telling his team to run a little bit harder here for 30 seconds at the end of this half. Looked like it was Jaheim Brown who just see come back onto the field at the bottom of your picture. So perhaps the advantage was short-lived. And again, Tormenta, no real impetus to take any big risks here. Halftime approaching and that 1-goal lead. Walker turns. So we've crossed the 50-minute mark. Bit of keep away with Cabral in the center circle. Pass inside, intercepted by Alves. Here comes one Knoxville. And a great pluck there from Reed Stephen. Full of energy still. Has Nianjo to his left. One-on-one, Jonathan Nianjo to the end line. Sent into the box. Tunbridge was arriving again. And the halftime whistle will send these players back to the locker room. A first half split by weather delay. But South Georgia enters our halftime break with a 1-0 lead delivered quite some time ago by a pass from Mason Tunbridge into Niall Reed Stephen to give the home side the advantage. We step aside and we will return with our halftime show right after this.
From Kids World Learning Center here in Statesboro, Georgia. Let us take care of all of your child care needs here at Kids World Learning Center, from your infants all the way to your after-schoolers. We also have a summer camp and holiday camp for those older children. And we have our brand new bus for our field trips, for the children to have fun and to learn and to explore new things all around our beautiful county. Thank you for trusting us with your most prized possessions.
try it first.
The Clubhouse in Statesboro, Southeast Georgia's best place to play. The Clubhouse in Statesboro, where fun is done.
Optum Health System's commitment to you has not changed. Unmatched safety and compassionate care. Others may talk about the new normal, but at Optum Health System, we've always provided high-quality, personalized care safely. If you have recently delayed your care, we want to reassure you we are prepared to care for you. Our absolute commitment to safe, high-quality, personalized care is stronger than ever. We welcome you back to Optum Health System.
I need to try it first.
Week 19 of USL Championship play is upon us, and USL All Access welcomes Monterey Bay head coach Jordan Stewart to the show. He discusses how he rebuilt the entire roster in one off-season. What does the legend Didier Drogba have to say about it? Loudoun United's golden child Abdulatif Abukora talks, should he be considered the Young Player of the Year? And do we think that he will finish as the Golden Ball winner? CBS Sports Network previews and more.
We have belatedly reached the halftime break in South Georgia with Tormenta FC ahead 1-0 on 1 Knoxville. The Experience, presented by El Jimador Spiked Bebidas, is a video docu-series that shows the history, passion, and community of USL clubs and their supporter groups. The latest episode showcases Rhode Island FC and their supporter group, Defiant 1636, and it's available on youtube.com/USL on July 17th.
We want to be the loudest people around. We want you to hear where we are at.
Oh, what a goal!
No one thought we would do what we did against Louisville.
We were hot, we were clicking, we were scoring goals.
Even after the whistle blew and they were champions, forget about it. Raise your scarves, we kept playing.
I don't think I've heard a louder scream from a group of people than we did that night.
That's the important thing about this group. They never stop loving their team.
Imagine a world where every small act of kindness sets off a chain reaction, where one moment of compassion ripples outward, shaping the community around us. This is our home. This is our family. And just like the game we love, we are stronger together. Because here, in our humble corner of the world, the ripple effect begins with us. One gesture, one act of care, one unwavering commitment to something greater than ourselves. This is more than a kit. This is who we are.
Today went to the beach, and it was totally worth it.
Stay 3 nights this summer at Best Western and get $50 off a future stay.
What makes Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water unique? It's our commitment to making our bottles from at least 50% recycled plastic. In fact, Crystal Geyser is the only beverage company in the U.S. to exclusively own and operate 2 plastic recycling facilities. And you can help us make an impact too by always remembering to recycle your bottles. Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water. Simple, but not easy.
And the back off the goal kick, Williams!
The box, keeper's out, he scores!
Halftime at Tormenta Stadium, home side with a 1-0 advantage, courtesy of Niall Reed-Steven, as we take a look at the USL League One standings presented by Savannah Hilton Head International Airport. This is how things look. A couple of games going final earlier on. Chattanooga Red Wolves picking up a win, and Greenville Triumph are pegged back at the moment by Forward Madison. That game almost over. FC Naples with a come-from-behind victory against Westchester. So there's going to be a lot of shakeup in the table. But right now, South Georgia Tormenta climbing 3 points closer to the playoff line, and one Knoxville unable to separate at the moment. So we're going to take a look at some of those scores going on. I jumped the gun a little bit on them, but it's been a fun night of action across USL League One. Lots of teams in play, and there have been delays all around as well. That Charlotte Independence Union Omaha game getting started a little bit late, but as we mentioned, Chattanooga Red Wolves and FC Naples, those two have gone final. Forward Madison almost there. Texoma and Portland, unfortunately, still in a delay, and that is how things look around the USL League One this evening. Let's zoom out a little bit and take a look at the headlines from around the league, and certainly none bigger than the departure of Dominic Casciato from Union Omaha. He makes the leap into USL Championship for the first time for a League One coach as he joins Tampa Bay Rowdies. Still 3 clubs on incredible unbeaten runs: AV Alta, Spokane Velocity, and Texoma FC. And the Jägermeister Cup knockout round is approaching. Don't look now, folks, but we are almost to the final day of group play, and that means the cup draw coming up soon. Here's the team of the week from last week in USL League One. Of course, Niall Reed-Steven getting a spot, as we mentioned a couple times throughout the show, but Derry Desdoon and a host of AV Alta players joining Coach of the Week Brian Claben, as Antelope Valley sweeping up the awards. And speaking of, our player of the month is AV Alta's Eduardo Blancas. And we are going to take it away as we take a look at the fantastic month that he had.
First touch so telling for AV Alta. So many talented players. Desdoon, one of them, picks out a teammate and slotted home brilliantly by Blancas. Blancas will go for the hat trick. Oh, he's got it! Oh my! Unreal! Blancas will go for the hat trick. Oh, he's got it! Oh my!
Are you you suffering from hip or knee pain? Don't let the pain hold you back. The region's most experienced robotic joint replacement team at Optum Health System offers an individually tailored approach that is more precise and creates smaller incisions. For you, that can mean a faster recovery with less pain. Your comeback starts here. Call today to find out if robotic-assisted joint replacement is right for you.
Hi, I'm Michelle Smith-Lang from Kids World Learning Center here in Statesboro, Georgia. Let us take care of all of your child care needs here at Kids World Learning Center, from your infants all the way to your after-schoolers. We also have a summer camp and holiday camp for those older children. And we have our brand new bus for our field trips, for the children to have fun and to learn and to explore new things all around our beautiful county. Thank you for trusting us with your most prized possessions.
I need to try it first.
At Savannah Hilton Head International, you can choose from 11 different airlines, including Southwest Airlines, Breeze Airways, and Avelo Airlines. With up to 70 daily nonstop departures and over 30 nonstop destinations, Savannah Hilton Head International gives you more choices for a travel plan that fits your needs. Savannah Hilton Head International. Visit flysav.com.
I need to try it first.
Tonight's match is presented by the Clubhouse. Plenty of fun at the house of Tormenta. Tormenta Stadium, and the fans have stuck around. You guys have stuck around, but it's been a while since we saw some of that early action on in the first half before our weather delay. So let's take a look back at the first half highlights, going all the way back to the beginning of this match. And it got started in the 13th minute of action, or the 14th minute rather, as South Georgia broke away, and this was their first real big opportunity of the match. They catch one Knoxville out, and Reed Stephen makes no mistake. This pass from Tunbridge, perfectly placed, giving his teammate room to run in behind Haugley, who never had a chance to catch up. Now Reed Stephen sets himself and finds that top corner. Sean Lewis close to a save, but not close enough to keep it out. Then in the 19th minute, pressure continued for South Georgia. A bobbling ball made it difficult for Nianjo. He kept it on target, but a relatively easy stop for Lewis. And then one more chance that we saw before the weather delay, as one Knoxville got a little bit of a foothold in this match. They did keep some possession. Mark Doyle had his shot deflected out. Now this was after our restart. We delayed for about an hour and 15 minutes. And one Knoxville on a set piece. It's where they're the most dangerous. They strike the bar, but nothing more. And South Georgia able to hold on for dear life and take that lead into the halftime break. Here's how the stats went in the first half. Probably the biggest surprise here is that possession total. I told you that one Knoxville got their footing in the match late in the first half, kind of before the weather delay. And they were able to actually tilt the possession a little bit in their favor, which is very uncommon, especially when these two teams meet. South Georgia Tormenta had about 70% in their 3-0 loss back in Knoxville 3 weeks ago. We are underway for the second 45 from Tormenta Stadium. Parker Johnson here with you all night long as it may take. Hopefully just 45 minutes more after our long delay. And Tormenta with 3 points to protect. We did have one substitution at the halftime break. It came for one Knoxville. Calixtro off, and Stavros Zarokostas onto the pitch. So a switch out on the wing as the 27-year-old Greek forward enters the play. He's in his second season with Knoxville after signing late on in the campaign last year, and he's already become the club's leading assister of all time, and he gets his first touches here. Taking the ball out of the sky, drawing some contact from the surrounding Tormenta players. Free kick awarded to 1 Knoxville.
Cal, get across! Cal, stop! Overhit, John.
Tunbridge goes down. No sympathy from Mario Maric, our head referee. Gouling, maybe a chance to shoot. Opts for the reverse pass, and Zarakosas couldn't reel it in. Played long, but Reed Stephen was not there on the last man's shoulder. Slight moment of hesitation, but Lewis able to stick his boot through it. Tunbridge trying to turn out. It's Jimenez who sprays it over towards Alves. No Knoxville players in the area, so he's able to scramble back and retrieve. 1 Knoxville playing without Kempis Tequila from the start. If you're just tuning in for the second half, maybe checking out some of the other games around League One, their leading goal scorer is out and unavailable here. He's not on the bench either for this trip from Tennessee, which was delayed by about 3 hours yesterday on the highway. An unavoidable traffic issue, and the team got in late. Now they've had to deal with a weather delay as well. Just incredible professionalism being shown by 1 Knoxville on this road trip, and likewise the Tormenta players. We went into a delay at approximately 8:11 local time, which lasted an hour and 15 minutes. They only got about 6 minutes to warm up before the half got back underway. Offside whistled against 1 Knoxville. But fascinating to see those halftime stats. I spoke with Ian Cameron before this match, and he told me that he expected his side to hold at least a 60-40 possession advantage. Knoxville splitting 51% in their favor in the first half. Coach Cameron said that if anything else other than that happened, it would be incredibly out of character. But Tormenta scoring a goal against Knoxville is also out of character. If you look at the history of this series, they hadn't done that since 2023, and here we are. Tunbridge moving forward, looking for 2, and it skews awkwardly off the turf. You can see that a divot came out just in that D at the edge of the box. Let's take another look. His plant foot slips and deflects the ball. Takes all of the danger out of the shot for Sean Lewis. Tunbridge has not been able to apply the finishing touch on a few occasions tonight. That one certainly out of his control. Doyle. Saw Gouling on the far side. Runs through to Jaheim Brown.
Mark, go in there! Don't force it, Danny. Move it. He's on it. Good. Drive, Simmy. Super one there.
Brown defended by Nianjo. Caputo. One Knoxville setting up camp in Tormenta territory. Ball ruled to have stayed in play on the near touchline, just in front of the Tormenta subs. Haugley interchanging with Doyle. Now Caputo takes over. Howley made his way through. Asked too much of Stuart Ritchie. The USL on CBS kicks off July with a hot showdown in the Championship Eastern Conference. Last season's final runner-up, Rhode Island FC, takes on Northeast rival Hartford Athletic on Saturday, July 19th at 4 p.m. Eastern. That is live on CBS. Great turn from Reed Stephen, accelerating, cutting across. And Yanjo snaps off a long shot. You can see the threat that Reed Stephen provides and the confidence that he is playing with to turn his defender and have that constant belief that he is going to beat whoever is in front of him. Ian Cameron has tweaked his system to ensure that Reed Stephen gets to touch the ball centrally as often as possible, gets matched up with center backs, and he has been a nightmare for them in recent matches. His goal separates the two teams at the moment. His 4th goal contribution in the last 4 games in all competitions. And his 11th of the campaign already. 6 goals and 5 assists for the first-year pro. Ritchie to the byline. A high cross to the back post. Nobody home for one Knoxville. Good read from Brown, but his interception goes all the way across to Reed Stephen. And then the recovery defensive work from Stavros Zarokostas.
Go on, Chacha! Hey, again, stealth. Stay in touch, Danny. Stay in touch. Quicken everything up, Danny. Stay away up. Stay away up.
No way through for one Knoxville. Nianjo comes away with it. Beats the first man, Caputo. But out for a throw. Jonathan Nianjo, certain that he had done enough to draw a foul there. Back to defending for the blue shirts. DN finds a pocket. DN posting up in the middle. It's Doyle on the left. And no problem for Mikel Rashid. Sees that well over the end line. Using his body perfectly, getting in front of the Irish winger. And Rashid has stepped in brilliantly for South Georgia Tormenta at a spot they've needed quite a bit of help. Ian Cameron said that when Anatolia Prepelica went down with injury. They lost the guy that they saw as their alpha in the center back position. They were hoping to figure out who Prepelica's partner would be, and all of a sudden it was back to the drawing board with their combination of young center halves, Simba Kasanzu, Tabo Nare, who starts this evening, Callum Stretch, who tonight is out with a red card suspension. So they were able to bring in Rashid. He played last season with Huntsville City and MLS Next Pro, but only signed at the end of the year. Spent a year and a half out with injuries. Said it was the hardest period of his life. 2 separate surgeries, 1 on each groin muscle. And a long road to recovery, but he's back fit, and it's been given away here to 1 Knoxville. Doyle misses the frame. The goal was begging as Pack tries to play out a loose touch from Cabral, a rarity, but Doyle sends it over the bar. Tormenta almost gifting 1 Knoxville a way back into this match. 1 Knox has had a tough time breaking them down through possession. Mistakes have bitten South Georgia Tormenta all season long. Looking for just their 2nd clean sheet of the campaign. A corner kick will help here.
All right, friends, this is our opportunity. We got a corner kick for Tormenta. Good round, good round. Let's put that ball in the net.
Cabral going short. Gets the return, stays on side. Up to the top of the box, Alves. Shot deflected. Lewis scampering over, and he did not save that from going over the end line. Less than impressed with the decision, but slow feet don't eat. And in the meantime, a caution issued to Aaron Walker, the player coach. USL League One stalwart. Greenville and Tormenta talking his way into Mario March's book. Corner comes in, back to Alves. Takes a touch last off of Knoxville. It's Fernandez issuing the high fives. We'll see who got the block here. This is coming in with some sting. And it was Fernandez. Kept his hands behind his back as well. Brilliantly done by the Knoxville center half to put his body in front of that shot from Alves. Another corner coming for South Georgia. Taylor Gray gets it all wrong at the back stick. Cabral clipped it up nicely for him. Jimenez into Tunbridge. Has Cabral. Combination back out wide for Oscar Jimenez. Now Walker rotates into Cabral. Clipped over. Reed Steven. Can't track it, but better interplay for South Georgia Tormenta. They haven't done a lot of connecting in the final third. Certainly since the restart. Now Dien over the top is in, but he's offside. That's what Babacar Dien provides that Kempes Tequila perhaps does not. So good at getting in behind the back line, a very willing runner. One away by Tunbridge, takes a tumble. And a foul given to Tormenta.
Because all they've done is dove down and
Let's take another look. Tunbridge wins it back off of Ritchie. And the challenge coming in from behind. There's a little touch on his near foot after he shifts the ball past Mikel Guling. Gray went down as well. And maybe 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Either way, a free kick for Tormenta. Jimenez, big looping service. The header back to Reed Stephen. It was almost a copy of how they worked it for the goal last week against Portland Hearts of Pine, but opposite players on the end of it. Up in Portland, it was Reed Stephen launching up for a header at the back post and tapping it down to Nianjo for the goal. Nianjo almost returning the favor, and another offside here against Mark Doyle this time. One Knoxville starting to play some of those direct balls that are their calling card under, well, they were the calling card under Mark McKeever as much as they have been under Ian Fuller in the early going of Fuller's managerial stint here in Knoxville. Certainly something that Ian Cameron pointed out before this one. Great piece of skill from Cabral. Ian Fuller starting to think about some changes as the substitutes warm up down on the touchline. Looks like the offside flag up before that ball could have gone out for a corner, and that gives a chance for Angelo Kelly to join the fray. The all-action midfielder will replace Sievert Haugli. They'll play a similar position, but they may play it a little bit differently. Get a little bit more attacking thrust out of Angelo Kelly. Second team all USL League One back in 2023 and won Knox's first season in the league. Does a little bit of everything in midfield and making the 197th appearance of his professional career. Former USL Championship player, Charleston Battery and Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Caputo shoved down by Niall Reed Stephen. Knoxville taking the free kick quickly, but not pushing it forward with real urgency at the moment. Tormenta with numbers behind the ball, trying to set up some form of pressure. That ball slips past the diving Nianjo. Swerved in, back post, header! 1-1, Mark Doyle. Just like that, Knoxville back in it. Tormenta had been on the back foot. And finally, Knoxville able to bust the door down. It's Mark Doyle with his third goal of the season, crashing the box and putting his body on the line. He simply wanted it more at the back post. A beautiful ball sent in by Mikel Guling. He will earn his first assist of the season. And Knoxville straight away looking for more. They sense that South Georgia could be on the ropes here. Gouling finds Doyle at the edge of the box, goes down. Goal kick for Tormenta. Pack wants to get his team back underway as we get another look. Was there some contact from behind? Doyle certainly looking for a penalty. Tormenta defenders did well to keep away from any kind of contact. DN without much help. It's headed over to Rashid. Loose pass back, brings out Austin Pack, and thankfully for Tormenta, he was alert to it. A brand new game. Two goals and an hour and 15-minute long delay later. We start fresh with 23 minutes left to go. Clipped in by Ritchie, off the bar again! Doyle! A heroic block from Aaron Walker. The 35-year-old flying in at the last moment. Ritchie set up his teammate, and this really should have been a goal for one Knoxville. Gouling strikes the crossbar, much like Fernandez did in the first half. And then Doyle can't get his shot off before Walker gets in the way. One Knoxville all over South Georgia Tormenta. Corner swung into the 6-yard box, headed out by Nare. It'll be a corner from the opposite side. Caputo trotting over to take the corner kick. Native of Caracas, Venezuela, by way of South Florida. Now landed in Knoxville. Trying to pick out a teammate, and boy, does he have some good options gathered around the penalty area. That's where he puts it. Kelly gets a header, falls to Ritchie. And no threat on the back-spinning shot. Substitution on the way for Ian Cameron. And we'll see Handwala Bwana, the Kenyan native and former MLS standout, Seattle Sounders, who replaces Jonathan Yanjo. A like-for-like switch. And he will be, looks like, out on the left wing to start. Interesting to note that Gray has been the forward today, and at least in the second half, Niall Reed-Steven has joined alongside him. That's usually the position that Tunbridge takes up. Reed-Steven started the game playing a bit more out wide on the right, and he was able to combine with Tunbridge for that opening goal. And he since shifted into the middle and swapped spots with Mason Tunbridge. It's been on the fringes. Here comes Bwana, immediately trying to get involved. He's got Kelly for company as the two subs battle. Bwana gets a nutmeg, but he's backed up by Brown. Showing great intention right away here, Bwana. Bit of handbags off the ball. Some dramatics between Zaro Costas and Gabriel Cabral. The referee just allowing us to play on. Tunbridge. Nothing but white jerseys around him. 4 of them at the edge of the one Knoxville penalty area, including the retreating Mark Doyle. Trying to bring Stuart Ritchie into the play up the left wing.
And again. Higher, Stu. Too high, Mikael! Stop, that's enough, stop. Now central stop. Get high. White, Stu. White. Throw from that 18, down 18! Smart.
One Knoxville came into this match tied with two teams on 16 points. Richmond Kickers already lost, and that went final. Greenville Triumph already lost, and that went final. A chance for Knoxville to move up the standings, solidify themselves within the top 8 as they slowly pick up these games in hand that they have on everybody else in the league. They need to try to get a result over the line here, and they feel like they could get a winner the way the second half has gone. Tormenta took the early lead 13 minutes in before the long weather delay. Knoxville have had the best chances since, including the goal from Mark Doyle to equalize. Now it's Bawana. Loose pass looking for Tunbridge, easily cut out by Ritchie. Kelly with room. A couple players ahead of him. He's also got Zarocostas out to his right. Back inside to Kelly. Turning, firing. Safely into the hands of Austin Pack. Falling away with his left foot. Never able to get much power behind it, Angelo Kelly, but another warning shot from one Knoxville. Tunbridge going for $1 million pass. And the execution worth far less. Zarocostas, direct. Took down Mikel Rashid after he went past him. Rashid got the ball cleanly and then takes a whack from Zarocostas. Another look at this play. May have caught a stud on the top of his shoe. Ian Cameron instructing some changes, and Ian Fuller responding to his charges. Another foul. This game continues to be a bit broken in the final stages. Understandable given the context. A long trip for one Knoxville. It's been stunted from the beginning with that weather delay. A short restart and then the halftime break. Fernandez. Kelly trying to scheme his way around. South Georgia maintaining a more structured defensive line. Nari comes forward to win it. Plays it out to Bawana. Needs some help and has to drop it back to find it. It's Cabral. Aaron Walker dropping into that quarterback role. Directing traffic as he plays it out to Tabo Nare, 22-year-old center back in his 5th start of the season in replacement of Callum Stretch this evening. Sent in by Alves. Rising was Niall Reed-Steven. Alves, such a good crosser of the ball. Nutmeg from Gouling, but unable to catch up to it.
Substitutions now for Tormenta. 14 Dre and 19
Fresh legs ready to come on for Tormenta as Yaniv Bazini and Alon Dre, the Israeli duo, and the pair of roommates here in Statesboro, will enter and try to change this match. Bazini immediately will provide a different presence from Taylor Gray up top. And Alon Dre, more so a like-for-like switch in midfields. Fresh legs to replace Aaron Walker. On the other side, Babacar Dieng departs, and it's Kamarni Smith who comes on for One Knoxville. Smith, a former number 4 overall MLS Super Draft pick to DC United. He's played a couple years in League One, and in fact, he still has more goals in MLS with 1 for DC United than he has managed in his entire League One career with Spokane Velocity and One Knoxville. He could be the difference maker with no Kempes Tequila. Babacar Dieng now off. Marty Smith will get that role to try to run in behind and stretch the South Georgia back line. They'll need the likes of Brown and Ritchie advancing on the outside as well. Here is Stuart Ritchie. One Knoxville looking for a final push, and a hello to their fans, the Scruffs, the official supporters group, watching at Kearns Food Hall at the official watch party this evening in Knoxville. Sure, they've stuck around, the dedicated support for this 3rd-year franchise in League One. One Knoxville playing its 100th match as a club. And a foul against Angelo Kelly, taking down Bazini, who immediately provides that physical presence, coming back to serve as the outlet for Mikel Rashid. Doyle, past 2 defenders, has the back post ball to Zara Costas. Alves able to fend him off. The USL on ESPN2. Watch July 18th as Eastern Conference rivals battle it out on the field. Detroit City FC take on Pittsburgh Riverhounds SC in a fight to grab points and move up the standings. Friday, July 18th at 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. There's a former Riverhounds man and Angelo Kelly. Dropping it off to Abel Caputo. Bazzini has come on to play on the right. They've got Tunbridge and Niall Reed-Stephen playing through the middle with Bawana on the left. That's the front four for Tormenta. They've been playing without the ball most of the time, so it's been defensive work for Bawana and Yaniv Bazzini since he's entered especially. Loose touch from Stuart Ritchie. So the players are trying to maintain their focus. It's a long night of soccer in Statesboro. And it's none other than the Brinks Tire Impact Sub of the Month, Sebastian Vivas. We highlighted him at the top of our broadcast. He was honored for his presence coming on as a substitute and scoring for South Georgia. Did so in the Jaeger Cup, inspiring a comeback against Charleston Battery, where South Georgia Tormenta got 2 late goals to equalize in that match. 1 scored and 1 assisted by the Argentine Vivas. Can he be the lifeline off the bench for Ian Cameron, as he has been so many times throughout his career? 50 appearances for South Georgia. He's got 17 goals and 4 assists. Goal contribution every 135 minutes, which is an outstanding ratio. We only have 7 minutes in stoppage time in this one, and it's 1 Knoxville with all of the ball and all of the pressure. Building through Doyle, has Goulding on the outside, looking for his 2nd assist. Alves sees off Camarnie Smith, or Jaheim Brown rather, at the back post. A little bit of contact, but neither of them, in truth, ever getting to that cross. Vivas looking for the foul. Play continues. Zaro Costas going right at Tabo Nare, going down in the box. Alves from behind. This will be a penalty. Austin Pack going to be called upon as the man to prevent another collapse from South Georgia Tormenta. An inexplicable challenge from Gabriel Alves. He's almost out of your picture here. He catches up to Zaro Costas and just stumbles right through the back of him. I wonder if there's a little slip from Alves. Let's keep an eye on him as he comes in. A little bit of contact from behind, and then he fully falls over Zaro Costas. An easy decision for the referee. Zaro Costas headed to the end line, and at worst was going to win a corner or scrape across through, but no real threat on goal in that moment. And now they've given Mark Doyle a chance from 12 yards out to strike a penalty and put 1 Knoxville in front. Kempis Tequila, the only one that's taken a penalty for Knoxville in the league. Now it looks like Donnie Fernandez has stepped up, the center back. The 1 Knoxville original, Danny the Bull, and it's a goal, 2-1, 1 Knoxville. Pat got a hand on it, but he couldn't keep it out. Tormenta, the root of their own demise. They took a 1-0 lead some hour and a half ago. Donny Fernandez puts his club in front in their 100th match. And he's been there from the beginning. He's been there since One Knoxville was competing in USL League Two. And he puts it just far enough away from Austin Pack. What could be a huge goal for One Knoxville. They're coming off 2 straight defeats in which they've played well. This hasn't been their best performance, but they have fought through all kinds of adversity and then gifted the opportunity to take a lead by that challenge from Alves. What are Tormenta made of? With 2 minutes left, a game that they came out flying and looks like that Tormenta that we see for stretches in seemingly every single match. With so much attacking talent, now it's Bazzini clipping in, Vivas is there! He couldn't decide on a touch or a shot. It's somewhere in between and off his chest. And he's ruining the opportunity as they prepare for this corner. Let's take another look. Well, it was the deflection from Skelton, wasn't it? That took the decision out of Vivas' hands. No time to adjust, and the slightest touch changes the trajectory. Here comes the corner, Vivas with the header. But he's always past the near post there. Well, if Skelton got a fresh buzz cut, he might not have stopped that ball from going in off of Vivas. And the One Knoxville captain who signed his first professional contract here in South Georgia with a telling touch to keep Tormenta off the board for the moment. So we take into the final minute of regulation. Long ball from Lewis. Jimenez trying to move it forward quickly. Buana. Alves, deep cross. Over everybody. One Knoxville with one final change here as we cross the 90-minute mark. It's Nico Rosamilia on for Mark Doyle, the man who scored the first goal to get One Knox back into this match. Saving those legs for a couple minutes here at the end. And on comes the rookie, the 23-year-old out of Roseland, New Jersey. From New York Red Bulls, played his college soccer at Rutgers. Got his first professional goal against Madison back in May. He's got to help his team see out this result for just 2 more minutes and another 10 seconds. Buana. Rashid finds the feet of Jimenez, who's fully playing as a winger now. Richie will take as much time as he's allowed. He is on a yellow card though, so he'll have to be the most careful about time wasting. Rashid finds Buana with some space to move. Henzwala Buana, pass one into the penalty area. Touched away by Zaro Costas. Great defending. Bazzini keeps it alive. Alves always looking for a cross. Dashes forward. He's got Bazzini. Back to the middle. Out for a corner. South Georgia pushing until the final moment. And great defending from Abel Caputo, who's able to get in the way just in time. Austin Pack has joined the fray. Back post ball, Rashid. Out for a goal kick, and Pack will have to make his way all the way back.
Right, that's what I'm saying, though. 30 seconds by the time it gets... Come on, get ready for seconds. Heads up, first quarter. Come on, come on. You in here. Challenge, boys, come on! Hey, right in here. Come on. Right in here. 5 seconds. Guys, just play forward. Just play forward. Let's talk, come on!
Sean Lewis issued a yellow card for delaying the restart. He won't mind one bit, but this will tack on a few extra seconds. And one final push for Tormenta. They led 1-0 in the 14th minute. Knoxville with a gritty comeback. Still we continue, urged on by Ian Cameron. The home side into the attacking half with Handwala Buana. Intercepted, and the final whistle goes. Knoxville's 100th match as a club ends with a full 3 points that defines the scruffy city. A comeback, a weather delay, and a decisive penalty in the 87th minute to take a 2-1 win. We'll take a look at our save of the match. And it came all the way back in the 19th minute of play. It was Sean Lewis on a shot from Jonathan Nianjo, helping to keep Tormenta from doubling a lead. They really jumped out on top of this game, and this was after their opening goal. Could have made it 2-0, but Sean Lewis keeping his team in it, and in the end, they needed every bit of it. It finishes 2-1. We will show you the full-time highlights and wrap this thing up after this short break.
I need to try it first.
Hi, I'm Michelle Smith-Lang from Kids World Learning Center here in Statesboro, Georgia. Let us take care of all of your childcare needs here at Kids World Learning Center, from your infants all the way to your after-schoolers. We also have a summer camp and holiday camp for those older children. And we have our brand new bus for our field trips, for the children to have fun and to learn and to explore new things all around our beautiful county. Thank you for trusting us with your most prized possessions.
Optum Health System's commitment to you has not changed. Unmatched safety and compassionate care. Others may talk about the new normal, but at Optum Health System, we've always provided high-quality, personalized care safely. If you have recently delayed your care, we want to reassure you we are prepared to care for you. Our absolute commitment to safe, high-quality, personalized care is stronger than ever. We welcome you back to Optum Health System.
I need to try it first.
Welcome back to Statesboro. The final, Knoxville 2, South Georgia Tormenta 1. The first time all year that Knox has come from behind to win all 3 points. Likewise for South Georgia Tormenta, the first time they've scored first and lost. Let's take you through the story of this match. Starting in the 14th minute, it was still light out so long ago as Niall Reed-Stephen continued his phenomenal form. This was his second goal in 3 matches, his 4th goal contribution in 4, and it was excellently taken on the break. A perfect pass from Mason Tunbridge, and Reed-Stephen too fast for everybody to catch, and he shot too hard for Sean Lewis. But there wasn't too much to speak of from there for South Georgia after the Barbados International put them in front. We had an hour and 15-minute weather delay, broke for halftime, and when we came back, One Knoxville came in with a burst. Mikel Gouling picking out Mark Doyle at the back post to equalize in the 66th minute, and One Knoxville applied all the pressure from there on out. They finished this match with 1.95 XG to just 0.5 for South Georgia. A lot of it provided by this penalty kick. Won by Zaro Costas, converted by Donnie Fernandez, a One Knoxville original. And without Kempis Tequila, he's the man tasked with the kick from the spot that wins One Knoxville all 3 points. Here's how the stats look in the end. A surprising possession tilt by the end, 12 shots to 9 in favor of One Knox. And just all around an impressive response after conceding early, after arriving late to South Georgia, and after withstanding that long weather delay. One Knoxville able to fight back and win all 3 points that will help them climb up the table. It's been a pleasure to bring you this one, and a huge thank you to everyone who stuck around with us through the extended break. Our crew has done a phenomenal job from Statesboro tonight, led by Tim, Julian, and Esqualdo. My name is Parker Johnson, signing off for this edition of USL League One Soccer. Your final score, South Georgia 1, Knoxville 2.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.